And for me, it was just an example of all the parenting we had done ahead of time led us to a position where she could be strong enough within less than 24 hours to come back and be like, I'm going to support my sister. I'm going to support my family. I'm going to support the team. Here I go. I can handle this.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going today?
Good. So pretty out today. I don't know where everybody is, but I'm looking out at the mountains right now, and it's starting to get greener and greener every time I sit here.
Mm-hmm. Springtime.
It is.
Yeah.
I wonder where everybody else is today and what they see. You know, like if you were in Colorado, you'd probably still see snow. Or if you're, you know, in Florida, obviously, it'd be palm trees and greenery. And here we are seeing mountains. I'm always interested where everybody is.
So, how's our week been this last week?
Well, it's been a little exhausting.
Yeah,
like let's fill everybody in a little bit. So, like most times we get on here, we're talking about our kids and their sports, like social life. Like they have a better sports social life than we ever did as a child. Really, they have a better social life than we have, period. Like now that I think
That's
about
a
it.
fact. Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this the other day. And we'll kind of get into how our week's been going and stuff like that. But when we were growing up, sports, I mean, of course it was always fun and stuff like that. I just played for like my middle school, junior high level. It wasn't like I went on to college or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But it was, I mean, I would say it was competitive, but it was like genuinely like fun. You know what I mean? Like you genuinely were excited to go, yes, try out, be with your friends. And you just kind of enjoyed it. It was part of life. Everybody was a part of something at school, whether it was sports, whether it was like musical theatrics or whatever it may be. You know, everybody was involved in something. Here it is so competitive. It is like, if you don't set like, and our practices were like one practice a week and a game a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They actually used to be real true extracurricular activities.
Yes. And you still had family time. And you still had like weekends pretty much free, maybe one game.
Now it's a lifestyle, right?
I mean, our kids are multiple. We have multiple kids, so we have lots of sports going on. But if you aren't practicing 5 days a week with games and getting yourself some extra coaching on the side, not just the coaching at the school, on the side, like good luck on really playing at the school. It is craziness in my mind.
Totally.
But just to back up a little bit about our week, maybe it'll explain why you and I are just still a little shocked by what our kids are doing. So we had the opportunity, my kids had the opportunity to try out for tennis this week. And when I say tennis, Abby, Bella, and Chrissy are tennis players. Abby and Bella are sophomores. Chrissy is a freshman. We do homeschool our kids, but they play sports at the local high school here. Mm-hmm. I think we've explained it a couple of times, but we are a very strong sports-oriented school here. Mm-hmm. Many kids try to even just get into our school so they can play sports at the level that our school provides.
Yep.
Very competitive. Tons of fun because it's competitive, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Like,
you actually have to work to get on the team. Oh, yeah. It's not just, hey, if you come, everybody plays type scenario. So Abby and Bella had played tennis last year as freshmen. They were on JV and they did great. They were actually the number one picks for doubles on the JV team last year.
Yeah.
And even got bumped up to varsity sometimes to play. Wonderful, wonderful experience for them. Of course, then their little sister, who was coming in as a freshman this year, was like, well, what's Abby and Bella doing? And they wanted to try out for varsity. So she was like, me too. That's what I want to do. And we were super excited about it, weren't we?
Yeah, it's a unique structure where there's so many kids and they let kids on the team, right? Like, I mean, you can get cut for probably lack of character or bad grades, but otherwise they let kids on the JV team. And so what's really unique about it is you almost have to try your best to get onto varsity in order to get real instruction and to get real playing time. You know, varsity is basically 10 girls, 10 boys, you know, so it's 20 kids. There's 6 courts. You get real individualized attention. You get consistent competition. If you're on JV, you have to, you know, there might be 80 kids on JV. So imagine 6 courts for practice and you have 80 kids. You're basically doing drills and standing around 80% of the time.
But the one thing about JV, just to kind of clarify, you're right. You can be on the team. It doesn't mean you're going to play.
100%. So then within the JV system,
Correct.
like they'll let you on the team, but
Correct.
you have to be like the top 8 to 10 kids there out of however many there are in order to get playing time in JV.
To be even seen, you got to be on your game.
Yeah, which our twins did last year.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why they were like, you know, top of it and they got to compete the most. But still, you want to get it on varsity. So
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. So anyways, so,
Yeah.
you know, because of the success the twins had last year, we really thought they might kind of be a shoe-in for varsity this year, right? But the reality is every year's a new year. And
Absolutely.
there's new levels of competition and new levels of everybody working their butts off. And for a lot of kids, this is their only sport. So they
Yeah.
really focus on tennis. They have instructors nonstop. They have
coaches
all
year
of the
round.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't really do that. We kind of go in seasons. You know, we'll have a tennis season, and then we'll take a short break, and then we'll have a golf season, and then we'll take a short break, and then we'll have a basketball season, you know.
Which, okay, so, and again, this is every family comes up with what's best for them.
Yeah.
I was actually discussing this with Bella, actually on Friday of last week. So I know we had talked about how we had practiced ahead of time with you and Coach Brad and everybody. So to kind of wrap in what actually happened this week, to kind of get to it so we can get to the point of some of our good discussions with our kids. But real quick, I had a discussion with Bella, and in our situation, tryouts started on Friday. It was all Friday afternoon, all day Saturday. We thought we were going to find out who was on varsity on Saturday. We did not. It got even extended longer to Monday and Tuesday.
Correct.
But how it worked to even try out, go ahead and explain to them kind of how the original tryout started.
So there's already some kids that are filling spots that were at varsity last year, okay? And so they're a lock because the coach knows them. He knows the work they've been putting in. So in essence, there was 36 kids trying out for varsity for, I think it was 9, maybe 10 slots between both boys and girls. I think the girls were only picking up 4 spots. Wasn't that right? I think
it was 4 or 5 on each side. I can't remember.
Yeah. And so, so obviously it's pretty competitive, and it was the most kids that have tried out for varsity, our coach said, in his 9 years of being here. So he was trying to figure out how to make this fair. And what he did was he decided to put kids in a pod, you know, a pod of 4 to 5 kids. And then you had to play a round robin tournament, right? So it wasn't like, hey, go out there and hit the ball, do this, and we're going to evaluate you. It's you need to play everybody in your pod, and if you don't win your pod, probably you're not going to become close to making it. Right. And then other things were like, if you go 0-2, like if you lose your first 2 matches, you're automatically cut. There's no exceptions, right? Don't care if you had a bad day, doesn't really matter. You know,
I mean,
they had to find a way to do this.
He had to come up with a way to narrow down 35 kids down to pretty much 5 for girls and 5 for boys.
So just kind of envision showing up and you're thrown right into competition.
Right.
And, you know, for a lot of kids, they haven't, like I know our kids, we only had about a week to prepare for it just because of weather and stuff like that. And so, so you want me to tell you what happened with the kids, or?
So on Friday, let's start with Friday.
Okay.
How it went.
So Friday it starts off, and you know we're trying to watch 3 different courts because Chrissy's in one pod, Abby's in one pod, Bella's in one pod. I really appreciate the coach didn't put them in the same pod because that would be very tough.
Very good.
And you know, I'm trying to watch all the girls. Abby wins her first match. Mm-hmm. Bella loses her first match. And then Chrissy won her first match.
And I just want to inject real quick right there. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, parents, I know you all have been in these situations. Our kids work really hard on their mindset. They work really hard on their character. They work really hard on becoming the best version of themselves, even when the pressure is strong.
Yeah.
And I think most parents are teaching their kids the same way. Unfortunately, Chrissy was playing against a girl who did not have good character. So one of the rules is that parents usually can't give input. As we're sitting watching, we're not allowed to call if the balls are in or out. We're not allowed to get it involved. They want the athletes to take care of it.
They don't want you coaching.
They don't want you coaching. And I get all that because it can get really confusing.
Yeah, it could get bad quick,
And so we're just peacefully watching all of our kids walking up and down the tennis sidewalk to watch what's going on. And Chrissy got in a really bad position where she was playing against a girl who was either 1 or 2 grades older than her. I don't really know. But her character was horrible.
Yeah.
From the get-go, we're watching. And, our Chrissy is a freshman. This girl was a little bigger than her, older than her, whatever the case may be. And she came in like a powerhouse thinking she was going to rule the court.
Yeah.
Did not play half as well as Chrissy, but seemed to have shots that were always helping her and not truthful to the situation, I would say. And
you're trying to be so PC. We're talking about fire pants out there. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay. Let's just call it what it is. This girl's cheating her butt off like nonstop and ornery about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was
lying
ornery.
Lying about the score.
Yes.
And the thing is, Chrissy's sweet, but Chrissy's really smart. She don't forget anything. Her memory is not. So she's having to argue for all these different points.
Which can be exhausting, honestly.
And you're trying to play well.
And she is. And this girl just tried. So moral of the story is this girl was a cheater, like Greg said. And not only that, Chrissy kept saying no. And then at one point, Greg started to not be able to hold his tongue. And it was like, that is for sure out or in or whatever it was. You had made a call.
It was in by a foot, right in front of me.
Okay.
Right in front of her.
And cheater, stop the game.
That's what we'll call her, pumpkin eater.
Okay, pumpkin eater. Stopped the game and came up to Chrissy at the, right at the net and said, I don't know if that's your dad over there, but he's not supposed to be involving himself or making any calls. And Chrissy was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but was that in or out? She would not.
Chippy.
She was getting chippy. Chrissy did beat her. I was proud of her for that.
She had to overcome it, though.
She had to overcome it.
She had to overcome, just her nerves.
Yes.
She had to overcome she hasn't had a chance to really play a lot yet. She had to overcome pumpkin eater.
Yeah.
She had to deal with
all
this mentally.
And the worst part about it was pumpkin eater and dad pumpkin eater went and complained to the coach as we're watching about Greg's involvement in this. And somehow, we're parents just like everybody else. Yes, we coach and yes, we give you all this advice. But then when it's in our space, you're cheating against my kid. Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I hear what's going on. I come over and tell Greg and I'm like, I just want to let you know, we got to be careful today. As parents, we got to be really careful what we're saying. We don't want to put any of our kids in a, I know we're passionate, but you're like, this is Greg. Good. I hope they do come talk to me because I have something to say about that cheater. And Greg's fingers. Okay, hun. Well, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That we're just stay over here with me.
Yeah.
Let's watch the other kids.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to let you know we need to tone it down. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm going to go look at Abby and Chris, or Bella. I'm like, that's a good idea. So that's how it all started. It was kind of Friday. We went home. We ended the night, though, on Chrissy winning one.
Chrissy won 2.
Oh, Chrissy won 2.
Abby won 1. Abby lost 1. And our poor sweet Bella went 0-2. And so she was automatically cut. No more chance after day 1. Mm-hmm. That was kind of sad and intense.
It was sad and intense. And I know we'll get into it a little bit more. But hey, parents, I mean, we all want our kids to win. And we all want them to get their, opportunity to shine, right? And Bella had just come off basketball. She was in pretty good shape. I mean, she was ready for this. But, just whether the other girls just had a really good day and she had a rough day.
It's just Bella just hadn't had enough reps. And so she was beating herself.
Best.
She didn't get beat by anybody else. She just beat herself,
But I will tell you, it was one of those situations where I was really proud of her because she came off the court. And of course, We were talking about this one with one of our coaching clients that we just had this morning, our Redwood coaching, that the importance of having both a mom figure and a dad figure in each kid's lives. Like how important it is to have you being there as the strong coach, being like, hey, this is how we're mentally going to beat them. This is how you're physically going to beat them. I want you to look at this, to check this out, do this. And then that softness that a mother brings when disappointment hits. Mm-hmm. And I kind of waited for her to come out of the tennis court and come over, and I just said, hey, let's have a talk. Let's talk. And we went and sat in the car for a minute, and she was really hurt. She was disappointed in herself. She was embarrassed. She knew she could have done better. And all the feels of knowing that both her sisters were still competing for a position she wanted, and so excited for them, but so sad for herself. And just overall, just not what she thought the day was going to go.
Yeah.
And so overall, I will just tell you, Friday was a little stressful at our house. Lots of good conversations. I will just tell you up front, I am so proud of Bella because after her loss, she composed herself. We went out and finished watching her sisters. She came home. I said, hey, I want you to go take a shower, kind of take a minute, get some good sleep, get your mind cleared for a minute. She did. And the next day she got up. She was the first one up, helping her sister with her Redwood Super Kids event in the morning. She then was dressed and ready to go out to tennis again to support and encourage, hopeful that if they needed help for anything, she would be there. She asked the coach, is there an opportunity for me to still practice with the varsity, even though I didn't make it? She just came back so strong. She rebounded so well. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was just an example of all the parenting we had done ahead of time led us to a position where she could be strong enough within less than 24 hours to come back and be like, I'm going to support my sister. I'm going to support my family. I'm going to support the team. Here I go. I can handle this.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
And we'll do part 2 next time.
Yep.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.